Hello, I'm Connor, and I make Victoria 3 videos. Today I'm collaborating with Paradoxinteractive to explain the new company mechanics in Charters of Commerce. First, I'm going to explain company charters, then executives, prosperity, prestige goods, and foreign monopolies. Company charters help your companies by giving them a powerful bonus at the cost of one of your company charter slots. We'll get into how to get these in a minute. A trade rights charter lets your companies own and build trade centers and gives up to 100 trade advantage based on the fraction of production of the good in your market that the company controls. It also gives throughput to the trade centers it owns, which will make them trade more. The industry charter lets you add one more industry to a company. Some companies have multiple options, for example the East India Company. In that case, you can only pick one per company. They are very strong because you're increasing the amount of industries a company supports by at least 25%. Generic logging, for example, has a very strong industry charter as it can gain tooling workshops as an additional industry, which is one of the strongest industries in the game, since tools are an input to many industries. The Monopoly Charter bans private investors other than that company from building or privatizing that industry. Depending on the fraction of production the company controls in your market, it will increase prices by up to 20%. It also makes it cheaper for them to buy it from your other owners. Yes, that's right, in Update 1.9, companies can now buy from your financial districts and manor houses. Laissez-faire stops you from granting monopoly charters, though. The investment charter allows your company to set up regional HQs in other countries, which utilize their investment pool. This is very bad for the country you are investing in, but good for you, because the reinvestment goes to you instead of them, despite it using their investment pool to construct the building. In the tab of your company, you can see all of your regional HQs in the bottom right. Finally, the colonization charter, which requires a colonization law, lets you colonize a state 20% faster, and once colonization is finished, it will stop consuming the charter and grant that state to a new country that represents the company. The main HQ of the company stays in your country. When that country owns buildings, company throughput and construction bonuses of the company apply to all buildings owned by the country. However, it uses their prestige ranking for this, not your country's. This charter will stop you from disbanding the company. To get company charter slots, you can get one from having any economic law other than traditionalism and extraction economy, and that can be increased to 2 if that law is laissez-faire. 1 from being a great power, 2 from the corporate charters technology, and 1 from the investment banks technology. You can also spend 100 authority per additional company charter over the cap. Executives are the leaders of your companies. They boost the clout of their interest group depending on the size of their company. They can also boost the throughput of their buildings if they have the entrepreneur trait. This trait can level up over time, increasing the throughput bonus, and also granting bonuses which can only apply if they are the leader of their interest group or ruler of your country. So if you wish to make them the leader, you can excel the current leader of the interest group they are a part of, and the higher the popularity of the executive, the more likely they are to take over the interest group. From there, as a republic, if they win an election, they can become ruler. Prosperity is a number that ranges between 0 and 100. Each company has a prosperity bonus, which activates when prosperity hits 100 and deactivates when it's below 75. Target prosperity is increased by the productivity of the company's buildings, the amount of staffed building levels up to 50, and the popularity of the executive leading the company. To help get more prosperity, you can consider granting the industry charter or the trade charter, because these will allow your company to get more buildings, which means more staff levels for prosperity. Having more levels will also make prosperity increase faster and decrease slower. Prestige goods are higher quality versions of goods which require the company to be prosperous to unlock. Once they are unlocked, they are produced until you disband the company. They generate more throughput for industries that use them, they are more desired by pops for consumption, they increase the offense-defense of military units that consume them, and they give more trade advantage so you can export the goods better. There's a separate ranking for top prestige good producers, which give triple the prestige of the normal good variant. So for example, if you get number 1 in prestige silk, you'll get plus 72 prestige instead of the base 24. This is a great way to increase your prestige. However, many good companies do not have a prestige good, so it is a bit of a trade-off to choose companies with prestige goods. For bigger countries, you are a larger share of the global market and have less ability to specialize, and thus may not want as many prestige good companies. Remember the Monopoly Charter from a while back? You can get monopolies of your company's goods in other countries too with a treaty. However, other countries do not want to give this to you, so you can either give them something to compensate, or you can enforce it with a war goal. You can also give it to the AI, of course, if you need more acceptance for a treaty. Having a monopoly charter in a foreign country will let you privatize their industries for cheaper and stop them from privatizing them or building the industry with their private queue. Unlike a Monopoly charter, getting it in a foreign country does not cost one of your company charter slots, though. Now I'm going to give an example of how you can use these features to do well as Belgium. Since Belgium starts out small, decrees are very valuable and compete for authority against company charters. But as Belgium, we start out with 3 free company charters, so I grant trade rights because as Belgium, we are small and so reliant on trade. I grant iron industry rights because it will feed into steel, which we need for our tools. Speaking of which, the third company charter is a monopoly on tools. With these charters, I managed to over double Belgium's GDP, nearly 7 million, in 6 years. Now you know all you need to know about company charters and the new company mechanics in Charters of Commerce. Subscribe for more tutorials, and goodbye!